Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna finally get the old Cat 941 out of the woods. Probably been about 2 years ago now. I was working a project back here off a facility down in Woodford, Virginia, and I'll put a link to the video of the clearing that I did. But just about as I was to finish up, I was pushing some brush up into the wood line, and I got next to a tree and went to turn and popped the track off the 941. I got it back on halfway, but with it being up against a tree, I couldn't get it set right on the front idler. And as I backed away from the tree, it popped off again. The folks here, they closed at 4, so I was run out of time. Plus, I had another machine down here to finish with the clearing that I was doing. So I said, I'll just use that excavator to finish the job out, and I'll come back and get on the 941 and get that track put back on. And they didn't have no problem with the machine sitting back here in the woods because it was out of the way, it wasn't hurting anything, and they really don't come back here that often. So they said it was fine sitting. I had no intentions of leaving it down here for 2 years, but this is quite a distance away from my normal base of operations. So getting down here is a challenge sometimes. And of course, whenever I say, yeah, I'm gonna go down there, spend a day or two down there to get it, you know, something comes up, either I don't get a full day or get pulled into something else. And bottom line, let's say this poor machine's been sitting down here for 2 years now, waiting for me to come get it and put the track back on. So this video will be a 2-part video. One from when it initially came off and I attempted to put it back on and backed out and pot back off. And then now today, hopefully, I'll get it all put back on and at least get it back to the side of the road because I can't get a truck back here. After I cleared it, it was large enough I can get my pickup truck back here. But yeah, the Black Knight with the lowboy is not coming back here. 1 is too soft, 2 is too tight. These trails here are made for ATVs and walking for the most part. So I'm down here, I got all the stuff I need: a generator, air compressor, I got my bar, I got a jack, pump, charge the batteries, so she should fire right up. And like I say, we'll try to get it out of the woods and get her back to the house. Well, YouTube, how you folks doing? Here we are with the my 941, and as you recall from a couple videos back, threw the track on it. Well, today I'm gonna go ahead and put it back on. Now I got those U-bolts out the way. Remove that bracket. I'm gonna loosen that nut right there, and that'll release the grease that's holding the tension on that. And I don't know why I thought that was a 3/4, but apparently it's a little bigger. I think it's a 7/8. I don't know why I thought that thing was a 3/4, but it's a 7/8. And okay, just loosen that up, and that'll allow you to collapse that cylinder and release the tension on the track. One thing you want to make sure you got right is when you walking this track back on, is make sure you got it up on top this top roller. Otherwise it'll throw you off. But that's half the battle right there. Generally at this point, if I had another person, I'd probably try to go head on and walk it back on, but because I'm by myself, I'm gonna still try to place it back on there as much as possible. Now I'm sure I'm gonna have to take the bucket and push that front idler arm back, because where it always gets hung up when putting this back on is getting it over here, because this is the one I'm gonna want to drop down. You're always fighting between getting it around that lip and keeping it on the sprocket up there. And then sometimes, which I brought my jack just in case, it's also helpful to raise the back end of the machine up and get your weight off the track down to the bottom. probably saying to yourself, why did he do that? He just had the track off. Well, I wanted to move it off of that tree, so I backed it up some. I tried to push it back with the bucket some so I wouldn't completely throw it off, but it's not too bad, and I did get some slack. You can see that that cylinder compressed a bit, so it may have given me enough slack to work with, and I'm still going to jack the back of it up and get the pressure off the tracks at the rear. But first, let me see if I can get it back up on the top, and it's still on the roller, so that's good news. And let's see about that lip. I have to fight with his lip again, but I think I got a little bit to work with this time. Yeah. All right, now you can see I'm back on top of the sprocket. So I'm gonna just keep walking around chain by chain, walking back on there. Again, this is always the hard part right there. But once you get it set up here and inside that for good, then you can walk it back on. But this stuff is heavy and it's hot, so I'm not rushing and I'm not trying to Superman this. I'll take my time. If it takes me all day, it takes me all day. I'm in no rush. Now that I got the track sitting on top of the sprocket, I can let the come along down and get my slack back here and work on the bottom. As you can see, I got it back on the top and all the way around, starting on the downside, so a little over a quarter away, which is really about all you need. Now I just take my time and slowly back it up and see if that chain won't walk itself back on the sprocket. If you look it down in the bottom, it's still not underneath the rollers, but as the machine goes back, it'll work itself back on. There's the old girl been sitting for over a year, just waiting for somebody to come down there and give her some TLC. So let's see what we can do. First thing, put the batteries in there and get it to fire up. To help me get back in the woods here, I brought Big Alice, because like I say, that trail that I cleared out a couple years back, since then some more trees have fell down and it's soft. They need to, I'd recommend they add a couple inches of stone in there, but like I say, they don't bring vehicles back here anyway, so I doubt they'll do that. And plus I had to carry all my tools, so I got my generator, got a chainsaw, see my jack is in there, 2 batteries, some fuel for the chainsaw, but I've already got all the trees out the way, and then I got a compressor that I left down here that I don't use. We'll see if that thing still works, so I can get the back end of Katie jacked up and push this track back on the rear sprocket, and then I'll raise up the front and lay that track back on the front idler wheel, and it should be compressed all the way. If not, I'll compress it some more. That's one of the reasons well, I didn't have it all the way on when I backed it out of there, so I may have to compress it some just to get it back over that front idler wheel. When I was down here last to get the batteries out, a wasp nest has formed, but I think it's cool enough now where we don't have to worry about those bees. They're still up there, but they've gone dormant. But I'm gonna knock them out before I stick my hand in there, that's for sure. Now I'm gonna go about getting those bees out of there. It's only, oh, they didn't moved on, but that nest is coming down. Got a couple of them in there still, but it's cool enough where they've, like I said, they're not gonna do a whole lot of flying. right, folks, you see we got it back on there. When I moved the machine back from the tree, when I initially tried to put this track on, I forgot that I had filled it back up with some grease to extend that wheel back out. And see, once we collapsed that wheel back, that track went on relatively easy. Now, I will say, I usually keep a come along on this machine here, but it wasn't on there. Don't know what happened to it. And I didn't have one. My father didn't have one in his toolbox. His walked off, and I didn't have one on the Black Knight. So we just used the dozer to, use Big Alice to raise the track up, and then we just prodded it back on the wheel, and it sat right down on there. So now I'm gonna pump grease back into the track extension cylinder and push that wheel back out to tighten up, put some tension on the track here, and then walk it back out to the road, get it loaded up and get it out of here, and then take my time and put new track, definitely, maybe new undercarriage on this, so I don't get stuck out in the woods like this anymore.